Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Staying In podcast number 5. We're joined today by Sam from the YouTube channel Nella Academy, which takes an informative and comedic look at interesting historical figures and lesser thought about, but fascinating, today I learned type topics, explained with a stick figure type slideshow that he does not make in Microsoft Paint. Sam, what do you use to make the videos?
Jamie, already, this is so sweet of you. I use GIMP, everybody. As much as it might pain you to hear, I use, not a professional tool, but getting closer to one. I
Did
also
you
like how you said today I learned type topics because you know exactly where I steal all my topics from.
You can't fool me, dude. Can't. Yo, that's where I steal all my jokes from. So it's the same. It's the same thing, man.
Nice.
Did you ever at some point use Microsoft Paint, or did you just dive right into GIMP? Like since birth, you've been using GIMP, and that's where your
No, yeah.
expertise is.
I mean, I've been using GIMP for like many years of my life, like prior to the whole Academy thing, so I'm just familiar with it. And I just figured anything I can do in MS Paint, I can do in GIMP, so like might as well, you know?
At at what point did you realize that your like level of artistic ability had reached the pinnacle that it is at now?
It's all process, man. One time, like one morning, I woke up about a year and a half ago, and I looked myself in the mirror. I was like, today we're gonna do something revolutionary, and I decided to do like shading, like
Mhm.
semi-opaque brush strokes to make parts darker and lighter. You know what shading is. You're a smart guy.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
Um, and I was really proud of that, and so I think that's really what brought me to where I am today as an artist and as a critic.
I'm impressed, man. Did you? So I'm curious because I feel like there's obviously a lot of overlap and similarities between both of our channels, and actually both of our, I don't know. I think how we got into YouTube and that type of stuff. So first of all, I
Yeah.
know for me, one of the ways that, like, one of the reasons I started my channel is in the style that it was, is I saw Grade A Under A
Yep.
a few years ago being really successful. And the thing that I noticed from it was I was like, wow, the production quality of this is trash. His drawings are terrible. I mean, they're kind of like charming in some way, but they're pretty terrible.
Yeah,
And
they have personality,
exactly.
I would say.
And the thing that I noticed about it in particular was like, you know what? These aren't actually animated. They're just a slideshow. They're basically a PowerPoint with a few funny
Mm.
pictures in there and a few drawings. But what he's saying is like really well done and like really funny. Especially when he was doing the stuff that was like, manly drinks versus girly drinks and that type of stuff. So,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, sorry, dude, were you gonna add a bit there?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, for me, like, what it was so cool about that was it was just really good writing and then like shitty drawings. And I was like, I think
Yeah.
I could do something like that. Like I can do the shitty drawings. I thought you'd had to animate something like 12 or 14 frames per second because that's what everyone else was doing. But this was like, oh, you can actually just make something really funny and write it well, and that would be successful. And I think you had Grade A as like one of your like that was sort of what you modeled stuff after, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, white background, stick man. One can draw the parallels. Um, but yeah, he definitely like proved to me and so many other people that like it's really all in the writing and delivery as far as, content like this goes. And the visuals like aren't necessarily like as much of a selling point. Although I like to think that like some of the horrific shit I do now and then does like add to the appeal. But
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, in the end, the essence of it is like the personality. You feel?
Well, did you, when you initially started, do you feel you've kept the same style since then?
No, when I first started, it was horrible. Those were dark days. I was using like 10-point brushstrokes for all of my outlines.
Hmm.
Do you know what that looks like?
I know that my
It's
character,
horrible.
I use 5 point width for all of my brushstrokes. So, it's the same thing, but half, I guess.
Yeah, but like what's your canvas size?
1920 by 1080.
Oh, okay, I'm in the same boat. I was wondering if you were one of those people who does it big and then downscales it like you're, supposed to if you're like an actual whatever.
Oh God. Well, some people are like, oh yeah, can you just send me the vectors of all your characters? And I was like, the what?
Vectors.
And they're like, oh, the vectors. And I was like, what
That's
do you, and I was like, I remember in like when I was at school, like first year, we learned about vectors in a computer science class, and I was like, oh fuck. Like all that I knew was like the thing that's good about vectors is you can scale them up infinitely. You can make them infinitely large and they don't lose resolution. And I was like, oh god, how do I do this? So I like Googled how to make a vector, and then I just redrew everything and converted it. But yeah, no, I'm not
Oh, with
about
like
that, dude.
pencil.
Well, no. It was like I took you take the drawing and then you put it into Adobe Illustrator, and then you have this thing that like outlines the whole thing, and then you basically recreate the drawing in Illustrator using a few techniques, and then you convert it to a vector. So it looks a little different,
What
so
a
you have to
pain.
modify it. But man, dude, I get that's what the real animators do, but
Yeah, man.
not us, dude. They don't have that in Gimp,
That's
dude.
like that's preposterous though. My network asked me to supply a very high res image of my character.
Hmm.
So I was like, I could do that. I could clean it up, or I could keep the crispy pixels that made me who I am today. So I literally just like rectangular upscaled it to like 3000 by 5000, just the same image, and just sent it to him.
I like that a
I'm
lot.
like, all right.
Well, I thought it was funny because like even when I was making this little title slide that you're seeing on the stream, like I
hmm
took your YouTube profile picture and I was like I opened the full image and I was like, oh, this is pretty low res, and I was like, oh, I know, I'll just go watch one of his videos in full screen and then print screen and then use that. And then I did it and I upscaled it and it was the same picture. So I was like, oh, he's got me, dude. He's using my strategy. Oh no. Uh, so okay, so I wanted to segue a little bit because I thought this is interesting, because especially with the grade A under A similarity, which was you're doing chemical engineering right now, right?
Correct. You've done your research.
Okay, yeah,
hmm
that's right. That's what I thought. And so I thought it was interesting because the way I got into YouTube was I was doing my first year of engineering, and it was just general engineering. We didn't specialize till second year. And when I was like 4 or 5 months in, like right before the first exam, I guess like 3 months in, right before the first exam season, I was like, holy shit, I fucking hate this. This is so bad. I'm like studying, spending so much time, and I just did not enjoy the process at all. And so I was like, well, maybe if I can learn these topics and explain them in YouTube videos, that would motivate me to get through all the courses. And so, one thing led to another. And then, I ended up just kind of dropping out of university after the first year because I just made like, comedy videos effectively. And
Right.
that was it. How did you go from, chemical engineering to making the videos, even though you're still engineering, which is pretty exciting.
Correct.
But how
Yeah.
did that come
Yeah,
about?
it sucks. Like by all accounts, I probably should have done the same thing as you. Like it's pretty miserable engineering.
Hmm.
But I started my channel like between my junior and senior years of high school. So like it was just kind of there, you know.
Hmm.
Like I didn't like actively pursue it, alongside like my college stuff. Am I allowed to say the shit word on this podcast?
Oh yeah, you can say anything you want.
All right, cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was just a hobby that grew out of control over time. I guess not
So
really irrelevant to like my studies at all.
were you successful with that right away? Because I thought your channel was only like what year are you in for your engineering?
I'm a sophomore currently,
Is
college
that is
sophomore.
that the second year or third year?
That's the second.
Okay, right. Okay, because I was gonna
Call
say
yourself an American.
your channel is like 2.5 years old, 3 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, roughly somewhere around there.
Okay, so was it fairly successful right away, and you just continued that like linearly, or just like how did the progression of the channel
Yeah,
growth go?
yeah, it's a progress, like a very steady thing. I did a lot of like early on. I did a lot of guerrilla marketing on Reddit. Guerrilla marketing is kind of an ugly word. That's basically what it was. So
Yeah.
like I would find a subreddit. It would be like, are unicycles? Oh, I have a unicycle. I can talk about that. Do a video on unicycles. Send it to the subreddit. This'll
You
this'll
you
tickle their
you amassed like all 500 viewers of the r/unicycle subreddit.
Exactly. So it was just like little places at a time until eventually people just started posting my shit on their own whim. And yeah.
So can we just like do we just skim over your circus background? Are you a professional, have that background, professional
Oh
unicycler?
yeah, I wouldn't make a video about unicycles if I was lying,
You
Jamie. I have more
wouldn't be a
integrity than
fraud
that.
like that.
Yeah, no, my I think it was like Christmas my junior year of high school. I got like a $60 Amazon gift card from a relative. And I was like, all right, I could get either like I want something stupid. I want either like a unicycle or one of those automatones. Do you know those? Like the big like Japanese note thing that like sings in your hands.
Oh
Does that
wait,
ring a bell at all?
wait, is that like a thing? Because I went to Japan once, like 6 years ago or something like that, and there's this thing that like you touch different parts of your body and it would play different musical notes or something. Is it like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like it's one big musical note with like a stupid fucking face as like a sphere on the bottom, and then like you know how the note has the uppy part when you draw a note. That's like
Yeah.
finger touch, and you use that to play different notes. There's loads of
Yeah.
videos of them on
Wow.
YouTube.
Yeah. That is. Yeah. I think that's exactly what. Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
So you didn't
but
get
anyway,
one
I
of
was like,
those.
that's dumb, so I got the unicycle.
Yeah. I respect it, dude. So did you learn how to ride it?
Yeah, of course. It was a slow process. Like, um, I spent many a day of my junior year just out on my deck, where like I have handles on all sides, just like 1 second intervals of oh my god, I wasn't even touching anything until eventually I could like navigate fairly well.
So is this
But
like? So are you like also like living at home and your mom is like in the other room just like, oh, I wonder what Sam's doing. I hope he's
here he
studying.
goes again,
Here he
embarrassing me
goes.
in front of the neighbors.
Hope he doesn't hurt himself. Good thing I used my $60 Amazon gift card on
We don't have
bandages.
insurance.
Oh no. Don't get too close to the stairs, son. Oh god. So, okay, okay, quick side note because I'm kind of interested now. Do you feel that the unicycling has added much to your career? Was that like the sort of
Absolutely.
the stepping stone that
It's
launched you
part of who
into.
I am. It made me realize that I wanted to be on one wheel, flailing about wildly for the rest of my life,
That's
and that's kind of what I'm doing in my YouTube career, metaphorically.
that is
So,
that is a very exciting metaphor. I think that's good. Okay, so then also like you're going to university, so, because I imagine too, like by the time you're finishing like your first semester or second semester, like you probably have quite a few subscribers. You're probably getting quite a few views. Like,
mhm.
what's your thinking there? Are you sort of thinking, oh man, well I still got to get this backup career, or are you thinking like, oh I wish I could
That's my
drop?
mom's thought.
I was gonna say like, are you wishing you could drop out, but it's too stressful like to deal
I
with
feel
your,
like
what's the thinking?
I feel like a lot of it is that yeah, it is a very solid like backup just to have because like YouTube's not going to be around forever, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also just kind of like prove to myself that I can because like here I am on the internet pretending I like know shit about shit with my educational channel. Who
Mm-hmm.
would I be if I had that and it was just like, huh, universities for losers. Anyway, here's Dashlane. Like,
That's hype though, dude. You got Dashlane, you got Skillshare. Why do you need
yeah,
university when
man.
you have Skillshare, man? I feel like because the thing that I just find surprising though is like because the way that I was thinking about it was okay. So first of all, I agree. Like part of me every single time I think like, oh shit, like it's been so long since I've been in school. I can't really go back now. But I like every time I talk to someone who doesn't really know about YouTube or whatever, and they're just like, oh, so what is it? Like, what did you work? And I'm like, oh yeah,
I hate that question.
I make YouTube videos, and they're like, oh, I think I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Is that like so? What do you do? And it's like, oh, I make like little animated cartoons, and they're like,
Like,
oh,
you
that's
get paid
cute.
for that?
And they're like, oh, so like, what classes are you taking? And I'm like, no, it's just my job. And they're like, oh, okay. So what are you gonna do? What are you planning on doing? And I was like, oh, my career. So sad. But yeah, I don't know. Like at the same time, I kind of feel like the thing that I thought is like maybe YouTube's going to disappear and like not everyone is going to be doing. You kind of don't want to be doing this for 20 years, obviously. Even if you could, it might be a little bit weird to be doing this in
Mhm.
20 years. But I always
Hey
thought that it's like,
kids,
hey kids, it's me, Samuel Onella.
the 40-year-old virgin.
But like you'd think that I would think, at least I'm hoping, that you'd be able to sort of segue your career, especially if you're working with other people in an agency and a network and stuff like that. You could maneuver your way into
Absolutely.
some other stuff successfully. So are you thinking that's most likely what's going to happen, or are you actually expecting you're going to need to fall back onto your degree?
Dude, I made a on my second channel, I made like a club remix of the Olive Garden theme song.
I was going to
You
play
know the
that
one.
as an
It's like,
intro.
oh, have you seen it?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah, for the people at home, it's the thing that's like. Anyway, when I was done with that, I was like, this is a new era in my life. Like, I'm no longer bound by the academy. I have like other skills. So
D-
yeah, absolutely. It's just I just want to like branch out and like do this shit that like I want to do. That
I
makes sense.
okay. So just before we explore that, I like that the top rated comment on the video is someone said, "Did Skillshare teach you how to do this?" Is there?
Yeah.
This is completely original, right? Like if I play it on stream, I'm not gonna get like copyright muted or something, right?
Nah, you're good.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna see if people can hear this.
Ah,
I guess you probably can't
weapons.
hear it, but
Oh
so,
yeah, I have the stream like muted. I just have the picture up so I can see chat.
so this is okay. So everyone can hear it.
Welcome all. This is what I do with my life.
So that's what it's like to be a YouTuber. So that's this is like I wish I had that. So someone could be like, "Hey, what do you do?" I'd be like, "Oh, I do a lot of things. You know, I have a. If you want to see my extensive resume, just head on over to my alternate YouTube channel. I like that your profile picture is upside down on there. That's a nice little differentiation.
Yeah, I was too lazy to make like a unique graphic for like my second channel, so it's just
Hmm.
like fuck it. It's they know the first one, flip it upside down, we're good.
So do you feel like the content on your vlog, because you upload there pretty recent frequently? Like, do you have like a sort of when you have your main channel, like the Salmonella Academy, do you have sort of like
Mhm.
on brand stuff, and you're like, okay, I just want to upload the stuff that I know is going to be successful and on brand and consistent, and then on the vlog, you just kind of put the stuff that you're like the meme shit that you want to make.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it right on the head. The vlog, like my second channel is entirely just like a garbage dump for me to funnel like my excess creative energy into.
Damn.
Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like whatever I feel like, crapping out that day.
Well,
It's what it is.
do you ever look at like some of the ones like you have like every Tinder ever and like Google reviews, the National Air and Space Association? Like, are those and that has like 1 million views and 2.1 million views? Do you kind of wish like you took those and
Ah, is
like,
that
oh
high? Holy shit.
yeah, and you're like, oh shit, I wish I upload that on my main channel.
I mean, I don't really like I don't think it matters what channel it is on. If it's successful, it's successful. Like it's attached to something I do. If anything, I'm happier because it draws more attention to like, the lame other memes that are like in that same sphere and forces people to look at this. So
My God, look at this stuff. You have first date, a slam poem, accountant rap, riders on the toad. Oh my God, look at this
funny
content.
thing about that first date slam poem,
Yeah.
I so for like the 99% of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I did like a slam poem on my other channel and it starts off as like a generic like millennial, oh, it's my first date, here are my feelings. But then it just slowly progresses into me like choking down entire sticks of butter in a restaurant and the girl losing her shit and then me like almost choking to death. Anyway, I did that poem like I originally wrote that from my creative writing class my senior year because we like had to make a slam poem
Mm-hmm.
and literally like nobody laughed. They all just kind of like stared in fear, and that made it like three times as better for me.
That was exciting.
like,
Also terrifying.
mhm.
Do you think they know who you are now? Do people know who you are now and know what they missed out on? Like they saw genius, but
Well,
they
like from my school.
yeah.
I think a few people did. Dude, my teachers like found out about my channel like in my senior year of high school. I don't know like what kid thinks it's okay to take my lewd and lascivious content and be like, "Hey, Mrs. K, check this out. This is a student you have."
That's
But
great.
like it was so awkward. They were, like my one English teacher was like, "So Sam, I've seen this YouTube channel you've been keeping. It's pretty funny, but very inappropriate." It's like, thanks.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Is there more to the
I don't
story?
know.
Is there like a
That was it.
oh God.
like,
I'm glad that's it. That's pretty scary.
hmm
Oh God. The so with regards to that, do all your personal friends and like your family and all that stuff, do people know that you make YouTube videos? Your classmates and
yeah,
stuff?
my mom's a G, dude. She's been like stalking the internet for any traces of me since I was like first accessing it. So naturally, she found it like all of her own accord without me even telling her, which is very impressive.
What the
So
fuck?
yeah, my family knows. Most of my friends are like in the know, but like I try to keep it on the DL if I'm like talking to new people, just because like I don't know, it's a whole thing.
How do you do that? Because I was kind of thinking, like, I really don't like talking about YouTube just because it's like kind of complicated, you know? Like, I hate being somewhere and
Yeah.
someone's like, oh, what do you do? You know, like, oh, how's it going? How's your day going?
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, fine. And like, oh, what'd you get up to? And I'm like, oh, not too much, just the usual. And they're like, oh, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't really want to talk about it, like super out loud, really. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do you feel the same way that you just kind of want to keep it?
Yeah, like
Mhm.
with talking about YouTube, you either come off as a huge fucking geek or a humble bragger. There's
Mhm.
nothing in between ever with people.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you're good though because you have like school, so you can be like, oh, I'm doing chemical engineering. It's pretty good. Oh, it's
yeah,
good.
yeah, it gives me a good alias for like what my life is.
Has it negatively affected your grades and positively affected your social life? Does having a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers help you seduce the one girl in chemical engineering?
I actually, can I tell a secret to you and all the people on the podcast?
Yeah,
My
go ahead,
current
dude.
girlfriend, I met using the Salmonella Twitter,
What the fuck? How did
which
you
is
do that?
probably not good. No, she like I don't know. She messaged me and she was just like, "Yeah, you looking for a girlfriend?" And I was like, "I mean, I'm not looking for one." And obviously it was all just a joke, just me like talking to a fan. But I like started talking to her like over Twitter. I was like, "Wait a minute, this female is really neat, and she's in my local area." Huh.
Dude, it literally. Dude, you never thought the hot local singles could be a real
Yeah,
thing.
I thought that was all a
Look at
myth.
you now. All right, no one in the chat get any ideas. All right, chill, everyone. Chill out. That's wild, dude. That's a wild. Are you serious? How did that progress?
Yeah, it was just like we got talking on Twitter. I was like, wow, she's really cool. She's like funny, like shit like that. So like I added her on Snap. That's the next logical step. Um,
Did you
Talked to
send?
her for a
Did
while.
you
Showed
send
her my
like?
face after like 2 weeks
Holy
because like
shit!
trust issues.
Did you send like
Um,
stick nudes?
yeah, man. Who needs 4 lines attached to a middle line when you could have 5?
Damn, fuck.
Heck.
Holy shit! This is a wild story. I thought this only happened in. Actually, no. This actually makes a lot of sense. I could see this happening a lot. But okay, so anyway, so there, she was like, "Yo, Sam, it's me, your biggest fan in your local area," and you're just like, "Okay, you're above a 7, so this isn't creepy. I'm gonna, I'm gonna follow up on this
It
one."
wasn't like she was my biggest fan. Like we're all just people, man. I don't even like using the word fan, to be honest. She was just somebody having to enjoy my content.
Okay, that's an interesting way of saying it. But okay, and then you exchanged messages for like a week. You had the snap face thing, and then you met up. What did you go on a date?
Yeah, eventually we met up. We went to see The Incredibles 2, which was, fine. We hit it off
What
okay.
wasn't incredible. It was just fine,
It wasn't too incredible.
man. So then, damn, when was this? How long has this been going on for?
Oh, we've been together like 9 months now,
What the
about.
fuck?
Yeah, man.
Wow, I like. I thought it was funny at the very beginning. You're like, oh, how I met my current girlfriend, and I was like, wow, dude, current girlfriend. Once you get to 2 million subscribers, like you have to level up. Oh shit. Are you so anyway, okay, so related to that, like are you with the success of your YouTube channel, are you have you found it affected like your lifestyle and like are you thinking like, oh man, I kind of want to move somewhere else, move to the big city, anything like
I mean,
that?
I'm kind of rooted down where I am on account of university studies. The main way YouTube's affected my life is just like it kind of like convinces me that I can be more of just like kind of a piece of shit, and it doesn't matter. Not like in a
Mm.
hostile way, but just in a like sloppy way. Like, yeah, I used to be very eager to please at parties and whatever else. But
Mhm.
now that I have this whole thing going on, it's like, I can stay in.
Yeah,
I can
dude.
order food for 5 days straight and not leave my house. It's chill.
Dude, that's why it's the staying in podcast, man. Cuz we both figure it out. That's how it is.
Exactly.
Oh god. Yeah. Yeah, I guess cuz also too like, once you get that big following, man, you are the party, right?
Hmm. I mean, sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not true. It's definitely not. Definitely, I feel like there is like an element there where it's just like that. What's the word I'm looking for? Just like that sense of security in a way where you're just like, oh, I'm just making content. This is what I think's funny,
Yeah.
and then the validation that a lot of other people think it's interesting or entertaining or funny. You're like, oh, okay. I guess I'm not that weird. Like, I guess other people
Right.
could appreciate this, and then you kind of, yeah, I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Why? I mean, why do you need to go to a party when you can just meet people online anyway? They can meet you.
Who needs a face-to-face interaction? That's
No,
not a human biological need.
no.
Pshaw.
Yes, exactly. So, have you thought about doing like some variety of face reveal on your YouTube channel and then using that to like make other content, or do you have any plans for other content, or how do you feel about that whole
Uh,
like your
I,
identity in general?
yeah, I feel eventually I'm gonna be doing, the real life stuff. I remember seeing a video a while back of iDubbbz just fucking crawling through the sewers and
Oh my
like
god.
looking at weird shit. And that was kind of inspiring for me. I was like, that's what I want to be. I want to be the man on the internet crawling through the sewers and getting covered in muck for people's entertainment.
I feel like when you said
Abandoned houses.
crawling when you said crawling through the sewers, I just thought you meant like browsing Reddit. God.
Yeah, metaphorically.
Yeah,
No, he was literally like in the human shit passages. It's
So
pretty
did
cool.
did you actually do you actually feel like there's any type of real life content you want to make of that variety that you would do you think you're
Yeah.
gonna do that eventually?
I had this idea that like I haven't seen anybody do yet, where I just go to weird like antique stores and like just wherever and look at all the weird shit. I was inspired by this because I went to an antique store in Jersey. It was like this little tiny thing, like just in the middle of this little like strip mall, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude is just sitting outside on a lawn chair, long ass beard. He's just the only dude there, like smoking a cigar. And I walk in and he like follows me in. And right in the center of this like tiny thing is this giant, like horrible old, like life size, like ginger puppet of a lady
The
that
fuck?
like just sits there staring. And he goes, "Yeah, that's Laughing Sal. She's an animatronic. Check this out." And he like flips the switch, and this thing from like the like 50s starts like writhing around and like playing this laughing noise. It was the most horrifying thing ever.
Holy
And I'm
shit.
really mad that I didn't document that. So like I would love to do a series where I just go around and find bizarre shit like that in antique stores.
I'm imagining like I don't know if you ever seen this. This is definitely a different genre, but there's a I forget who does the series, but it's like Two Chains, the rapper, like tries expensive shit, and it's just like him going around drinking. He's like, oh, this bottle of water is like $10,000, and he tries it, and he's like, tastes like water. And he's like, this dog is $100,000, and he's like, it's mad cute, and like that's the whole series. I feel it's like you. It's just like
That's awesome.
Salmonella Antique Academy. I feel it'd be the
Yeah.
same genre of thing, but just like the obscure, weird portion of it. It'd be like worth it, but for antiques.
Right.
Maybe
Exactly.
like Antique Roadshow Academy.
There you go. There's the title.
Yeah, something like
ARA.
that. Something like that. Uh, so I'm still curious though about your like having like you as a person and as like an actual personality, because we were just talking before the podcast about going to VidCon and going to different conventions and stuff, and like you were nominated for a Shorty Award. What category are you nominated in, by the way? Is it education or
Uh,
weird?
yeah, apparently I'm considered educational by some people.
Oh,
So,
nice dude.
yeah,
That's
that's
exciting.
the one.
So like for like making those appearances too, like are you thinking like say you won, right? You go on stage and you give a little speech, you do whatever, and then you're kind of there. Would you see that as a stepping stone to doing other stuff? Like, or would you just, or if you go to like VidCon or something like that, would you do a panel? Would you do a little meet and greet? Would you do that type of stuff? And would you use that to sort of, if you were given the opportunity to do like be in front of a camera and do that type of stuff and attend meet and greets and do those things, would you do it, or would you say, is there a certain amount of distancing that you prefer to have?
No, I mean, any opportunity I can to like just engage with people and get out there, like I don't see why I wouldn't take it.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty fair.
I hope to God I don't win though for the shorty thing, like because there's like everybody else in my category, like Cody's Lab, all of them, they
Mm-hmm.
put so much effort into their content and like so many resources go into them, and
Mm-hmm.
like actually provide real like educational value. So like them compared to like me sitting down with GIMP once a month, going on Wikipedia, it's like no contest. So I would feel bad if I like actually managed to like climb to the top of that. I doubt I will, but we'll
Well,
see.
I think you'd be surprised because I think like the thing that's appealing about what you're doing is that it's got the novelty to it. Like in a way, the stuff that's like Cody's Lab and like the more straightforward educational content. It's like they're kind of doing something that's kind of like it's a very it's a very clear path, and they're just kind of doing a better job of what's already there. And I feel like your style is like pretty original in that sense. So I think that avenue is pretty true there. I think the part of it that I relate to with that is at least for my content, I basically do no research ever on anything that I do, unless it's something that's like
Yeah, bro. High five.
yeah, but it's like something like the one on introverts and extroverts. I'll look up a few facts here and there, but most of my stuff is supposed to be like almost like a bit. It's like a comedy thing, so it's supposed to be coming from experience I've had or thoughts that I've had or that type of stuff. And so for you, I think there's a lot of that same carryover. The part that I was interested in is like all of the stuff that you do is like parts from history or like an interesting thing in the world that most people wouldn't necessarily think of. And do you actually just kind of like find something that you're just like, oh, that seems neat, and then you just go to the Wikipedia page, research it, learn about it, and then figure out a way that you can explain that with some jokes and some pictures and that type of stuff?
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, 25% of the time is me just finding it in the wild, but these days like 75% of the time it's like somebody messaging it to me either in like YouTube comments or like
Mm,
on Twitter. Like crowdsourcing is a very effective tool for finding all the weird obscure shit out there, let me tell you.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
but my whole process is I get the facts down first and I get the factual narrative down, and then I use that framework to like insert all, the stupid shit I say in between. If that makes sense.
That makes total sense. It's the same thing that I kind of do. Like usually what I do if I have a topic, I'll basically start with the title, and then I'll do some bullet points of all the main points related to it that I can think of just off the top of my head, and then I pick the ones that I think are most relevant, and then I'll sort of expand on those in like a paragraph. And I always try to like write seriously first of all, like just explain the parts that I think are if there's an
Right.
interesting fact or something that's important to the narrative structure, and then you just add in the bullshit in between. And then sometimes you get carried
Exactly.
away. I don't know if you're find that with yourself, where you kind of like stray too far from the actual point, and then at a certain
Yeah,
point
I
you're just
do.
saying so much bullshit it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I do that, and then I'm like, this is good. I should keep this. This is what my channel's all about.
This is perfect. I feel like it's like you have the meme content on the second channel, and it just starts to spill over into the main channel. All the
Of course.
content, like everything, starts going to shit. You're just making Olive Garden remixes. You can go on tour with Bill Wirtz just as a DJ group with a
My
traveling
dream.
unicycle. Oh God, oh no. So then also, currently right now you're working with the other. I forget. I think Tears who told me it's called. What do they call it now? The
The smart
smart
YouTuber mafia.
YouTubers, smart YouTuber mafia. That's right. You're working with the smart. Who
Yeah,
came
man.
up with that name?
So okay, so Kurzgesagt, the in a nutshell,
Yeah,
did a video on it was like, can you trust Kurzgesagt? However
yeah,
you say it,
yeah.
some like Dutch whatever. Um, and so they did a video on that, and then somebody else, I forget who, did a response video that was like pointing out how they were like part of our network and like calling out like our CEO and like a few other people and using
Mm.
that as evidence for how they're biased or something. Didn't really make sense, but like they referred to us as a mafia at some point, and we all thought that was really funny, so we kind of like adopted the title.
Mm. That's good. Okay, that makes sense. And then so like, how long have you been working with them?
Um, it's been almost a year now. I think they
And
were.
mhm.
I think it was about like April or May of last year that I got involved with them through Tearzu. Actually, he was the one who like referred me.
Oh, really? And then like, how's the
Yeah, man.
experience been so far? Like, have you actually met any of the people there, like face to face at
Oh
all?
yeah, we had this whole like Bahamas trip. Um,
Mm.
like over
Yeah,
the one. I
Patrick was
think
telling me about
yeah,
that.
I think
Fuck.
yeah he mentioned that the last podcast, right?
What the fuck?
So
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, dude, we all flew out to the Bahamas for a week and hung out. It was super chill, which is like playing fucking like Secret Hitler and board games while everyone like all the normies are like out sunning themselves in the sun.
What the fuck,
So it was a
dude?
good time.
Oh my god, I want to go to the Bahamas. So
Yeah, dude, it was great.
besides that, which is pretty sick. Like, have you felt like has your? Imagine. Feel like you've had a lot of sponsored videos since then. I feel like they probably facilitated some of that. But has there been a lot of good input from them, and like overall, it's been a good experience, or what?
The network, like they kind of hate me because like I mean,
The integrity's
I'm
not
like
quite the same,
very
right? It's not quite the same
I'm
thing.
very irresponsible. Like they'll be like, "All right, Sam, we're gonna put one video for this month. You fucking handle that." And I just end up being like, I'm gonna upload on the 31st and not give the sponsors enough time to respond. So you're gonna have to move money around.
Oh no.
Uh, it's like I feel terrible. I inconvenience them all the time. I need to get better with that. But yeah,
This is
we're on a shaky what's
shaky
the word?
foundations, shaky bases or
Yeah,
something. But I think like
but we're all friends.
that's
It's
good.
it's chill.
I think that's good. Like on a personal level, I feel you get along, but then maybe sometimes on the business front, you know, maybe your side of the transaction could be a little bit more punctual. Is that right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Although my network's very like laissez-faire. Like they don't even like us using the term network because it's like they're like it's a community that
Mm.
allows
It's
creators to come together.
we prefer the term mafia. Please, please use that.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, because like
We're an
uh,
organized syndicate of
oh
YouTubers.
god, yeah, the syndicate. Oh man, because like I feel well, also you're at school, like
Hmm.
I can see why they want you to drop out, but that's a lot of responsibility. Because like when I was in school, like how does this affect your grades? Are you just kind of like, oh, I'm just not gonna go to classes, I'm just gonna make YouTube videos, or where are your priorities?
Yeah,
Like honestly,
I
in
get.
your day to day, what are your priorities that you're like, this is the most important thing of the day?
Okay, if we're talking like the last week of the month, my priority is YouTube.
Hmm.
Any other time though, it's probably school. Just because like I don't know. Whether it's just to like prove to myself that I can do school or like just to maintain the facade that I can like educate.
Right.
So
Is that like
typically it falls on school.
is that like a big part of your idea for the future? Like you want to have a bit of a, I don't know, not necessarily authority or reputation, but maybe like a legacy that's, I don't know. Like do you imagine yourself in several years from now making content or doing something that I don't know, that has a bit more maybe like academic integrity? Like I've
Not at all. Not at
like,
all.
well, because I'm just kind of
No
wondering, like,
way.
why is that important for you? Like having the school, having the, proving that you can do it type of stuff. Because I imagine, like,
I don't
you're
know.
just gonna do it, and then you're gonna do it, and be like, oh, I can do it, and then you might never use it
Yeah,
again.
exactly. I mean, I'm just kind of like a go-getter with shit. Like if something challenges me, I just kind of feel the need to like, take on that challenge.
Mm.
And so that's what the school has been for me. And I just don't like feeling like a quitter because that's like the worst feeling in the world. So,
Whoa, dude, watch your words, dude. Personal attacks out here. Did you?
oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Do you live at home, or do you live by yourself, or
I'm
is
in
it
an
roommate?
apartment with a few other dudes.
Oh,
We're
damn.
chilling. Yeah, man.
Damn. What's your in the next few years? Do you have a sort of okay? This is what my life's gonna look like.
I have no fucking clue, dude. We'll see when we get there. I'm just riding riding the wave while it lasts.
Damn. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Do you think it's gonna pass? Like, do you think this wave's gonna pass, and you're gonna be like, okay, good thing I got my, good thing I know how to make
Yeah.
meth.
See that bugs me. Oh yeah. That's that was my like reasoning for chemical engineering actually getting into the field was like, all right, what's the thing that like even if society collapses, people are still going to demand? Of course, are drugs.
Mm.
Let's get to know how to do that in my garage.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate job security. Breaking
Well,
Bad style.
it's also true that it's like if everything goes to shit, what are people gonna want? Drugs. And if everything goes really to shit, what do you want to have? Drugs. So it's the perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, every angle's covered. I'm still not certain about this. I still just think you should just drop out, dude. Be like me, man. Be like the other YouTubers.
That's what they all say, man.
Yeah.
But
like here's the thing. It's like you don't want to have that fallback career because I think it should be all or nothing. And you can just be
Yeah.
like washed up, you know? Like they'd be like, oh, I remember when he used to be a
Being
channel.
washed up. That's the greatest. Being in my early 30s, drinking in front of CNN, already like done with my life.
Talking about how people used to slide into your DMs. The good old days. Here's a
I
picture of
remember.
me on
I
a
remember.
unicycle.
We are number one.
Oh no.
Those were the days.
Oh no. Oh god. Wow. Oh, I was gonna. This is what I was gonna ask too. How did your? This is going back a bit. I was just. I was like, gotta go back a second here. How did you
Right.
with Reddit when you first started posting on like you did like the little niche subreddits, which is sort of what I did too. Like I was on like YouTube Haiku and like other stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you originally get popular from YouTube or just organically through the YouTube algorithm and browse features?
I'm pretty sure Reddit is like 95% of why I am where I am today. Like,
Mm.
that platform has been like huge for me for sure.
Was that just from
So,
like r/videos predominantly, or the more niche subreddits?
the more niche subreddits like kind of help me like get a basis. Like, I don't know if I said this before we started recording or after,
Mm-hmm.
but like, I'd find a niche subreddit like say our entomology about bugs. Cool, do a video about bugs. Here's a thing about cicadas and what they do. Here you go. And I'd, toss that at them and they'd be like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I got our entomology locked down under
Mm-hmm.
the next small group of people to guerrilla market to.
Yes.
And so that helped
Slowly but
initially.
surely.
Yeah. But like as I like slowly started building, eventually it just became like people posting straight to our videos. And I was like, all right, my job's done. Cool.
Mm. So do you feel like you're going to stick to the same sort of format you have for Salmonella Academy for the foreseeable future?
For a while, for sure, man. Like it works, and I enjoy doing it, so why not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do, do, you- do you actually imagine? Would you think you'd like being an engineer? Do you think you could see yourself doing like, is it Backyard Scientist who has the really dangerous experiments that he always does?
That name rings a bell. I think you're right about that.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but yeah, being like an engineer proper, like no, that would fucking suck. But like, so do all jobs. Like, if you have a 9 to 5, you're going to not like it eventually. The whole point of it is just to have enough money to like do what you like to do outside of that. So it's whatever.
Wow,
But it
hot
would be
take,
cool
dude.
to like.
So it's YouTuber bust, dude. Everyone in the world living their trash lifestyle because they're not YouTubers.
No, that's not my implication.
Oh
Like, I'm
no.
saying, if I did YouTube as a 9 to 5, I would start resenting it pretty fucking soon. It's just human nature, man.
Mm.
Like, that's just how it be.
Human nature that we all just want to die. I think that's really what you're hitting at.
No. It's just that like a job is work. It's you can enjoy your job. You can like take pride in it and enjoy what you do. But at the end of the day, it's labor.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like if you do any one thing for any amount of time, like past the point, because passion is a very fleeting thing. Like at least for me, like creativity, having real passion for something, it doesn't hang around forever for like one specific modem or medium. I don't know, modem, does that work there as a word?
I
But
think
like
medium's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah, you use it
Cool,
modem,
man.
yeah, router,
Sick.
whatever.
um, but yeah. So in conclusion, life sucks and then you die.
Yeah, that's solid. Have you made a video on that yet?
That's like the implicit moral in most of my videos, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If you like read between the lines, that's like what there's to gain.
Well, there's just like an undertone of just like a general
Yeah, just a general
indifference
air
to
of
life.
existential angst.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
pretty much it. Do you feel is the style that you make your videos in, is that intentional, or is it just kind of a natural, that is just how you're doing it?
it's just how I doodle, man. Like it just kind of evolved over time as I learned a little bit like how to put lines to a thing and make it look okay.
Oh no,
Like
no, not
my
necessarily like not how you doodle. I mean like how you do the videos, like your style in terms of like your delivery and your writing and stuff like that. Is that at
like
all?
writing. That's just kind of my voice, man. It's just
Yeah.
whatever I think. Like
Mm.
I don't really try. I pander very occasionally, like mostly because I know most of my fan base is Redditors, and I was like, oh, Diablo's trending. Let's mention that. Back when that whole shit show was going on. But
Hmm.
like other than that,
I have to say, this is just unrelated, but I was just looking at the title slide, and I just noticed how far apart the eyes are on your stick figure.
yeah,
Is
that's
there?
a classic O'Neill stick figure feature.
Oh, is it
I
just?
got it down to a bit of a science.
It just runs in the family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so I feel like at this point I will I'm going to go to some questions that we got in the Discord
Oh boy,
ahead of
I'm
time,
excited.
and then we'll take some live questions from the live audience that I have here in my room. Okay, so
I'm rubbing my hands together, but you can't hear it. Go on.
okay, okay, so these are okay. So M asterisk says, which one of your videos is your most favorite one and why, in terms of making it and also the finished product, if there is a difference for you.
I really like the one I did on Terraria, the dude who could like this like old French dude who would just like eat all kinds of shit like constantly.
I
Like
like
he
that
ate
one.
like a quarter of a cow in a day and like a baby maybe. Um just cuz like it was a very interesting story to research.
Mm-hmm.
Like just every sentence I was like, "Holy fuck. Holy fuck." Just like progressive for each like line I was writing for the script. And also because it like a man like voring massive amounts of organic matter gives ample opportunities for me to express myself visually in a very like disgusting way, which is what I like to do with my drawings.
Is
So
there a particular part of your work that you take the most pride in? Is it like the drawings, or is it the full production, or is there any particular part?
I think yeah, I would go with the whole thing, man. Like it's something different from the sum of its parts, I suppose.
Hmm.
So like just having it all come together is like what feels the best.
I think that's fair enough. Um, so
I'm probably
Giraffester.
getting a little too like art philosophical
Oh,
about my
oh, not at all, dude.
little like YouTube whatever, but whatever.
No, that's that good shit, man. I feel like it's like every time I make a video, like I'm like sometimes I make one, I'm like, ah, yes, this is a good one. You know, I'm like, ah, I have made a
Wow,
masterpiece,
Mamma Mia.
and then I release it and no one likes it. I'm like, fuck. And then I make one that's just like video games, and everyone's like, yo, I like video games. And I'm like, fuck. This is, God damn it. But still, you got it. Sometimes they overlap, and you're like, I am the
Hmm,
best.
yes,
A mess. A
my
true.
people.
Exactly. So Giraffester says, what topic do you find, because this is related, I think, what topic do you find so, wait, what topic do you find so interesting but too grotesque for a video?
Nothing is too grotesque for a video for me, man. Have you seen some of this shit I've gotten down to? Like, I did one on Sigmund Freud where I was just drawing, stick figure dicks left and right,
Nice.
which is fine because a stick figure dick is just another line. It's even monetized. Nobody cares. And like I said with that Terraria one, just like ample animal mutilation done straight in GIMP with my, dumb cartoony style. And like people are fine with it. So
Have you had
if I enjoy it, they enjoy
experiences?
it.
Have you had experiences where you're just like drawing the dicks on the stick figures and like your roommate walks in, they're like, "Hey Sam, how's it?" What do you? You're just
I'm
like
working.
you're on your unicycle drawing dicks on stick figures. Oh, no. All right, and so then we have two questions from Mess Express, and she says her first question is, "What was your favorite part of your week?" So we'll start with that one.
Like this week?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh
Yeah.
man. I
Well,
I
actually, she
had
asked
this
this
like
question a few days ago, so it might have been last week, but anyway, just say the last couple weeks.
whatever, man. I had this like goat curry from this Indian place near me that was fucking fire. Like, I don't know if you ever tried goat. I'm real into it. It's probably not for everybody. It was like my first time trying it, and it was like delicious. So
Is
that was probably the highlight of my week,
is
honestly.
that considered like a separate category from lamb?
Yeah, they're different animals,
Wait,
Jamie.
I thought they're not. I thought a goat and
Sheep and lamb are the same thing, but goats and sheep are different.
oh, you're right. Yeah, that's stupid, dude. They look the
Yeah,
same to me, dude.
who came up with that? What the fuck?
I don't know, man. Oh my god, that's weird. Yeah. So yeah, that sounds good, man. I've never had that. I didn't even know they're different animals. This is like emus and ostriches. What I didn't realize, because like
You thought they were the same?
no, I didn't think they were the same. But like in Australia, we had I used to live in Australia, and we had emus
Wow.
there, and people were like, "What are emus?" And I was like, "Oh, they're like ostriches," and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I looked it up later, and it turns out that ostriches are just literally twice the size of emus. Like emus are fucking giant. They're like
Oh yeah.
5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. Turns out ostriches are like 8 or 9 feet tall. Like they're like the giraffes of
Yeah,
the
it's
bird world.
crazy. I don't know.
It's
I
fucking
don't know who
crazy.
let a bird be that big, but like I'm not okay with whoever's decision that was.
No, they can't even fly. Like I honestly feel like they remind me of lollipops. Like they're just they're just
Like their shape,
yeah,
like
they're so
geometrically.
stupid, man. Like man, oh my god, what a dumb animal.
Don't
Anyway,
ever lick one though. That's how you get diseases.
did you see that? Oh, wait, can you actually get diseases from that?
I don't know, man. Do you want to be the one to find out? Go out licking. That'll be my new series. I go out and lick wild animals and see what I contract
Oh
for the
god.
good of the world.
Wait, that's how we ended up with like delicious, tasty foods that we could eat. It's like I forget who had a
That's
joke
true.
about it, but it was like talking about milk, and they're like, "Who was the first guy who discovered you could milk a cow? What was he up to?" And you're like,
He
"Yeah,
was just like that's a pretty like simple explanation in my mind. If you're like starving and you see like a baby animal like not starving over there and it's drinking something, you'd be like, get me on that fucking gravy train. I don't care if I degrade myself a little, putting my lips on a fucking bovine nipple.
dude."
Like this is my life we're
It
talking
sounds
about.
like a
And
double win, man. Get those
yeah.
those udders.
Win win.
Oh God. All right, so we should definitely move past that one. So Mess Express' second question is if you could go back in time to when you first started your YouTube channel and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Um
Would
hmm.
it be drop out of university?
I was still in high school when I started, but
Would
like
it be drop out of high
I'd
school?
probably just say focus more, just do more with the channel, like rather than like it's not even that school. Like school is part of it that takes up my time, but a lot of it is just like dicking around doing nothing.
Hmm.
So just less of that. That's good advice for me today. So
I
like
was gonna
let
say
alone
like
back in time.
I was gonna say like a lot of the times when people ask me about that, like what advice I would give them if they're just starting, like I have to apply it to myself now. Like, cause I was like, oh yeah, like really, the more work you
Yeah.
put in, the more it pays off later. Like that still applies now, and I'm just
Right.
so I feel like it depends on if you're gonna apply it or not. Do you feel like when you what was I even gonna say? Shit, hang on, I gotta reread this question. If you go back in time and give yourself advice, what would it be? And then I was saying drop out of school, and then you're like, no, don't drop out of school. And then I was gonna ask, I've completely lost it, man. It's completely gone.
Well, I
Uh,
guess we're here now.
Give me a second. Hang on. I was really interested because it was related to me too. I was gonna similar question. I was, oh fuck. It's about your production schedule. Give me a second. It's gonna come back. I'm just gonna put the Olive Garden remix back on. It'll help me think. I don't know, man. I don't know what it was. I was gonna ask though. This is a secondary question. I know it's related, but it was the same thing. With your production schedule, like when you make stuff, are you at all rigid with your schedule? Like, are you just kind of like, oh well, I'm not at
But
school, I'm making videos, or are you just kind of like, oh fuck, I have to make a video, or what do you do?
yeah, it's more so the latter. Like I should be more like attentive with that whole thing, but usually what it comes down to the past few months is I see on my network, like, oh no, end of the month's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Guess I'll make something, which I enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy what I do immensely, but like yeah, it's I don't like get shit done without deadlines. That's just how it is, and
Mm-hmm.
so I gotta hold myself to that.
When you're actually making the videos, are you fairly perfectionistic about it? Like once you get into it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
really
man.
polish it,
Like
make it right.
yeah, like it looks super sloppy, right? But you'd be surprised how much like care I put into it. Like people who watch like the occasional streams I do of drawing, I will redo the same fucking squiggly arm 15 times until it is articulated exactly in the way I intend.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of perfectionism in that, yeah.
Well, I think it's funny because it's like, this is part of the classic YouTube thing of like trying to make your you feel like the need to justify it yourself, but like I kind of like because I had an experience once where because for me it takes usually like 40 to 100 hours to make a video in total, And when I for like it's gotten longer and longer kind of as time's gone on, but I remember there was one time I made a
Yeah.
video and my friend Jimmy was like, "Oh, it looks like you really put a lot of effort into that one. Like, what did it take you? Like 3 or 4 hours?" And I was like,
Yeah, people have no
"Oh."
respect for like how much effort actually goes into this sort of thing.
Yeah, and so it's like the analogy I kind of like to say, but like it makes it sound too self-important, but it's like, I mean, because it is just fucking YouTube videos, right? But the analogy I like to give is kind of like it's one of those things. It's like, it takes a lot of time to look like you're not wearing any makeup. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Someone said that to me. I think it was my
That's a perfect
person who
analogy.
cut my hair, but I was like, it's exactly like that. Like it takes a lot of time to make it look like you're not wearing any makeup. And I was like, I like
Mhm.
that. I like that because it makes me sound better than
Yeah,
I
I do
am.
like that.
Okay, so the final question from the Discord, and then we'll take some questions from the chat if anyone has any
Oh boy.
questions. Which is, I thought I'd ask you this because maybe you knew something about it, but I certainly don't. But IOPredman asks you, would love to hear him talk about his ideas about the new CRISPR CAS3. Do you know anything about CRISPR?
I know it's like used for gene editing and gene therapy, and like in theory, I've done a bit of thinking about it. Like I understand next to nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nowhere near like knowledgeable as I should be. All I basically know is that you can use it to edit genes in a living person.
Mm-hmm. That's about the
So
same knowledge
like
I have.
yeah, so I just like fantasizing about like, oh man, I want to like get this therapy and make all my skin like armadillo skin and like roll up into a ball and be like a superhuman. That sounds dope. And like that's about the extent of my thoughts with CRISPR.
That's hype, dude. Armadillos are great animals as well.
Somebody asked me what my rank is. Sorry,
Oh,
in
I
in
see it.
uh
I see it.
in Twitch. I just like to flex real quick and mention that I recently made my way into Diamond very recently.
Damn.
I'm about like 33,033 in SR. So
Yep. Overwatch.
yeah,
Good.
kind of
Good
a
play.
G.
That's impressive, dude. Are there any? So just to the Discord question, are there any other like niche subject areas that you're really interested in that you just really I don't know, you look a lot at in your own spare time, or like shows that you watch, like Chef's Table? I like that show. Or any shit like that. Any
Cool.
any stuff like
Chef's
that.
table.
Yeah, dude, it's a Netflix show. It's the only one I've watched. Just all these
Oh,
like Michelin star chefs like cooking really good stuff. So good.
is it like a competition type thing, or is it just them doing them?
No, Chef's Table is just like, oh, today we're going to be looking at this restaurant, like Attica or like
Interesting.
whatever.
Okay.
This is the fourth best restaurant in the world. And a person who's just like, yes,
Yeah.
I have done this for 25 years. This looks like a regular balloon, but is actually made out of, it's like melted, molded cotton candy, and but it looks like a
Molded
helium balloon.
gas.
And they fill the cotton candy with helium, so it's like a helium balloon, and then you eat the balloon, and you're like,
That's
holy
dope.
shit, that's
It made
hype.
me talk really high pitched after.
Yeah, you do. It's really sick. Like that's like, oh my god, that's brilliant. And it's like a whole anyway, it's a really good show. But are there
Yeah,
any
have
like
you ever seen Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
yeah, I have, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope. So like that's making me interested in your chef's tables thing.
You
Anyway,
sh-
go on.
you should definitely watch Chef's Table. But I was gonna say, are there any like subjects, whether it be like shows or movies, or just like, I don't know, if there's history or philosophy or stuff like that you're really interested in, that you follow a lot and you're like, this is like
Uh,
something I'm
I'm
really
like
fascinated by.
I'm really like weirdly interested in like etymology and linguistics, like where words come from and how language forms.
Hmm.
Like I look into that shit constantly just because like it's really fascinating where like the little things come from. Like I'm trying to think of a good example. I can't off the top of my head, but
Yeah. Well, have you made any videos on those kind of topics? 'Cause I feel like that would be kind of cool. Because I was even thinking of
uh,
doing a video on like quote unquote the English language. So obviously much more basic than that, but that could be. I
yeah.
feel like there's some
Uh,
potential there.
yeah, I did do one video on like the origins of phrases, like shit like
Mm,
white elephant, mumbo jumbo. Most of
hmm.
the ones that had like really outlandish origins that I could like talk about in detail, you know?
Okay, that's kind of cool. So when you're actually researching this, is it kind of like you'll just hear a word or a phrase and be like, "Oh, I'm kind of interested in what that's about," and you look it up?
Yeah, that's what like spurred it on. I think like I eventually just ended up Googling like words that have weird origins to like fill out the rest of that video. But
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
yeah. Most of the time, like just in my personal time, I'll just like run into something. It's the most boring shit ever, but
Yeah.
like I enjoy it.
I just get really annoyed when I find a word and I don't know what it means, and then I look it up. Like that's sort of it. Like if I don't know how to spell something or I don't know what it means, like it just really bothers me, so I want to look it up. I was wondering if it's like that for you,
Yeah,
but for like history or something.
yeah. I mean, somewhat. Like if I see somebody mention like, oh, the War of the First Coalition, I don't know what that is. This is gonna like jeopardize my self perception as an educated man. I better hop on this quick lest my ego suffer.
Damn.
So
Here's the thing, man. I feel like one day you're gonna be like the Salmonella Academy. You're gonna have some employees tutor some dude. Like you're gonna found your own academy, and I think that's gonna finally
I
validate
hope not.
your your.
That would be a stain on the American education system.
Well, it wouldn't be an American education system. It would be an own private
Oh yeah, it would
institution.
be my like off my offshore oil platform that I declared sovereignty on,
Well,
where like monkey fighting and dog
you'd
fighting are
have your
illegal.
house in Delaware, but they'd be stationed in the Bahamas. God. Okay.
Precise.
Okay. So from there, I think we should go on to some chat questions, if there are any. I see that Drafter's in there. I see that Nigel Angelo asked you the question about Overwatch. So if anyone else has any questions they'd like to ask to Sam, please go ahead, and we'll see if there's any that are interesting in there. And
I'm awaiting with bated ears.
yeah, we'll see. Nothing's happening, dude. No one's here, dude. They're all view bots, man.
153 people.
They're all
and
view
not
bots, dude.
Have a proper inquiry. Oh yeah, of course. Gotta pad it out somehow.
Oh my god, worst pain. Hang on.
Worst pain I could I guess talk about. So
You said
this is a little personal, but
Okay,
like I
go
feel
ahead.
comfortable sharing it.
Yeah.
Jamie, have you ever had like a full blown like medical panic attack?
No.
I had one exactly like twice in my life. And this is what it is. It's not like anxiety where it's just you like worrying about an object or like something going on in your life and it kind of culminates. A panic attack is literally when a little fucking pea-sized thing right in the center of your brain called the amygdala, like you're just going about your day, driving your car, and that little fucker right deep in there just starts losing his shit for no reason and puts your body into I'm fucking dying mode out
Mm-hmm.
of nowhere. And it's definitely the most unpleasant thing that has ever happened to me because it's literally like to the person having one, it's indistinguishable from a heart attack. Like massive chest pains and like just radiating like horrible impending doom and everything else. So that would definitely like rank as my like
Wait,
top
when did
pain in
this
life.
happen? When did this happen to you?
It was one time a couple years ago, like because I got way too I got a little friendly with old Mary Jane, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god.
Got a little too big for my
Whoa,
britches there.
dude. Terms of service, dude. Get us banned off the
It's
platform.
no, I'm just talking about the Spider-Man lady.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. She's pretty hot. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and like it was horrifying.
Damn.
And then
Yeah,
like
that's rough.
another like in the past like few months just out of nowhere, just like all like one-off things. I'm not like a stressed person. At least I don't think I do. So it's not like a long-lasting thing. It's just sometimes your little amygdala just flips off if you got the right genetic disposition, I guess. But it's whatever.
Yeah, it's true. Like
They
there's
attack
some
like every other hour of the day.
Yeah, no, there's some pretty, yeah, it'd be surprising. Like, I feel like a lot of those things you can get yourself into in that way. Like, you don't realize it. It's like the same thing when you're like hungover, or, I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's the same phenomena where it's like you're hungover, you have a bunch of caffeine. It's like, those are both states that you'd find yourself in where just like your natural anxiety level is much higher. And I'm not comparing it to a panic attack. I'm just saying, like, this is one of those, like, it's just a physiological response. Like, people are like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm always so
Yeah.
anxious. And it's like, well, did you drink coffee? And they're like, oh yeah, but it doesn't affect me. And you're like, no, it does. Like, don't do that. Or like, just, try without it. And if you don't have it for a few days, you'll find your level of anxiety just goes down. And like, that's one of those
Yeah.
things that's just kind of like, oh, it's actually just a physiological effect. And the same thing with like a
Exactly.
panic attack is, as far as I'm aware, it's not like, oh, you're just really anxious and nervous. Like, just chill, dude. And it's like, no, it's not like that. It's like actually a thing going on.
No, yeah, it's
Yeah.
your lizard brain like thinking you're a fucking lizard getting murdered for no good reason because you like saw a squirrel run across the road
Dude.
and it like some glitch in the matrix happened. What happened my first time? It's kind of a funny story, like, and by funny I mean like terrifying. Like as part of that like physiological thing, it was like it like started coming on, and I had like chest pains because that's like what it does to you, and my brain interpreted that input as like my stomach was inflating for some reason
Holy
because I was
shit.
like breathing
Okay.
real weird, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, a little like you know high to the moon me was like, I'm breathing in such a way that I'm pushing air into my stomach. It's gonna explode.
Oh
And
no.
that thought like continued the thing and made it worse to the point where I literally thought my stomach was about to like burst in my fucking abdominal cavity. It was the worst.
Damn, did it?
Yeah, man, I gotta replace this shell. Went to Jiffy Lube. We're
Oh,
good.
that's hype, dude. They got you can just CRISPR
Yeah.
you a new one, man. We can just genetically
Yeah.
modify, 3D
Hmm.
print some new shit. You'll be fine. Damn, that's crazy. All right, no, that's rough. I was just thinking like, worst pain. I honestly, I was just thinking for myself, like I've never really been in much pain. I live a very not high risk lifestyle. I've never been to a hospital. I've never hurt myself. Even as a kid, I remember my friends would hurt themselves. Like one kid, we had a sandbox in Australia, and there was like this sort of like elevated little pylons that you could walk up and then jump off into the sand. Like you're not supposed to jump off, but he did. And there's a bit of like exposed concrete from
Oof.
that contained the sand, and he jumped off and landed on it and broke his arm. And I was like, in my head,
Damn.
I was like, he like cracked his head open a few times, broke his arm.
He's fine.
He was always hurting himself, and like a lot of my friends did as well. And I was like, why do you do that? Like, I just never did anything risky, even as a kid. I was like, stop
No,
doing.
yeah.
Why are you guys doing stupid shit? And like, I just
Uh,
even from then, like, I've torn a few muscles, like at the gym or doing like weightlifting stuff, and those are probably the worst injuries I've had. But they're never been like that bad, I guess.
Yeah, no, outside of like those isolated experiences, I've been very like lucky as far as like, physical injury and shit like that goes, which kind of worries me a little bit because like when you break bones as a kid, it kind of like gets you used to pain. Meaning like if shit ever hits the fan when I'm like 35, 40, if I get in like a wreck or something, it's going to be very hard for me to cope like mentally.
Doesn't
So
matter though,
like
dude.
looking forward to that.
Nah, dude. Because here's the thing, man. You might sticks and stones may break your bones, man, but nothing prepares you for a broken heart.
Oh,
Nah, that
that's
was
the
fun.
moral for today,
Nah,
kids.
dude, that was supposed to be funny, dude. It's supposed to be sad, dude. Sad but funny, Part of the lifestyle.
Sunny.
All right, okay, hang on. Let me see. Let's move on from here. What questions do we have? One second here. Oh, yeah, this is an interesting question. I'm just gonna paraphrase this, but Captain Chuck says Sam always starts his videos with "Hey kids, how old do you think your average viewers are?" What are your demographics? Are they like
Oh
18 to
man,
35?
you yeah, YouTube says that 18 to 24 is my highest demographic, and that's what I'd like to think. However, many children tend to lie in order to access, the more mature content.
Yeah.
I know I certainly did at that age. And based on that and like the general content I tend to find in my comments section, a decent part of me is fairly worried that it's, late middle school, early high school, but who knows?
Damn. Those young kids lying about their age to look at adult content. Jesus Christ. Sam
Thick
O'Nella Academy
fingertips.
and Pornhub, the two biggest internet superpowers
Yeah.
of the year. It's interesting because I feel like I've always thought that too. Like the thing that I find weird is I am 100% certain that the biggest demographic on YouTube is like under 18. And they're like, no, it's 10%. And you're like, there's not a
Yeah, no, I
chance.
think like
You're just
Ninja,
wrong. It's like people
like right about.
using their parents' account or their parents' laptop or something. There's no way that's true.
Yeah. You've seen those things that are like children's videos, like happy finger time, sing song.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's like
150
fucking
million views.
300 million views.
Fuck.
Like,
Those ones too that
if
are
you ever
like,
get to,
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, fuck, dude. Too polite, man. And the ones that are like Kinder Surprise, like unboxing or unwrapping Kinder
Oh, yeah.
Surprise. And it's like, oh, Kinder Surprise toys 2019, 450 million views. And you're like, what the?
Yeah.
And it's got like 3,000 likes. Because it's just like, you're like, this doesn't make any. How are there 3,000 likes and 400 million views? And it's just like parents leaving on the playlist for their kids, plus fake views,
Exactly.
plus other random shit. Like I don't even understand.
The funniest shit is when you go into the comments for those videos and like half of them are just like random strings of characters that the kids type because they're like dumb and just like hitting things wildly.
God,
And
kids are
then
so
like on
fucking
top of
stupid.
that, that'll have like 300 likes because 300 other little dipshits will just be doing that wildly and like just by random chance will hit the like button on that.
God, kids, man, so dumb, man. Why can't they just like? Why can't we be like?
Why can't they just get bigger in the head? Jesus.
Yeah, it's so stupid, man. Honestly, like think about dogs, right? By the time a dog lives its whole life and passes away, a kid is still fucking stupid. You know what I mean? God, fucking.
Yeah.
God, I love dogs. Okay, let's move on from here. Wait, what does Giraffester say here? Wait a second. So T Edits has a question, but I think I'm going to have to ask some more clarifying points here because he says, I guess this is sort of similar to the question about the YouTube advice, but have you got any advice for someone getting back into after a long while? I don't know what that means. You mean back into YouTube after a long while? We'll wait for his follow up on that. Should we answer it or should we wait for the?
All right. I mean, I think I get what he means. Just like if you've had a long hiatus, my advice would be just to like do whatever it is that you did that like drew people in initially at first, just to like reawaken that dormant base, and then like from there branch off into like whatever else you're planning.
What if you never drew people in to begin with? What would you do then?
Well, then it's a clean slate, man. Just do whatever.
That's true. That's good. All right. Good advice. What would you have done if you made your YouTube videos and they weren't successful at all?
I probably would have kept doing them. I get joy out of like doing it. As long as like my video like goes out there and horribly disgusts or pisses off like one person, that's enough for me. That's what keeps me going.
Okay, that's good. Do you ever feel you like if you have a video that's not successful, are you like, oh fuck, I have to make another one to make up for it? Or do you ever feel like that type of stuff? Or are you just kind of like, I make what I want to make within reason, and that's it?
Like at least on my main channel, like things have been pretty consistent like the past year or so. Like people just kind of know what to expect from me, and I haven't had one that was like really unsuccessful compared to the others, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
So, which it's helpful that I only upload like once a month because that'll keep people like always coming back for the next one.
Yeah.
If I had like more frequent content, then it would be a different story. But
yeah, that's exactly why I have the same upload schedule. Good point, Sam Nella.
Rationalizing my
yes,
complete lack of work ethic.
Yep, that's exactly the no strategy, man. Strategy. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Tactics.
All right. So Corn Diddle says, "What would you do if you had a clone?"
Like the smelly stuff.
What? No, clone.
Oh, I heard cologne.
Well, I mean that too. Like, what if you know?
If I had a cologne,
well, you don't need it because people just sliding into those DMs anyway. It doesn't even matter.
I wouldn't need it because stick figures have a natural scent of sandalwood and beach, and it appeals to everyone.
It really does.
Yeah, but so clone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So are we talking like clone like how we do it nowadays, where it's just like a baby that has your DNA? Or are we talking clone like a perfect copy?
I think we're talking about our two YouTube channels.
Oh.
How we just copied each other. No, I'm just kidding. I know you. Don't worry, dude. We just copied Grade A. It's fine.
Point.
But what would you do with the clone? What would you do with the clone?
I definitely go to like half the classes I already go to, which means I would go to like an eighth of my classes.
Do you just skip most of your classes? Because that's what I did when I was making YouTube videos.
I'd say about like half. Because like the thing about the 21st century is like most of my classes just put all this shit online and like don't require attendance.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
better out of books and shit anyway, so it's like whatever.
So good, dude. That was my favorite part as well. I didn't have to go to... They just uploaded it on, like, the thing too is like you could just look it up on Khan Academy or just like some person on YouTube who just does a way better job explaining it in half the time. At least for lectures, you know? That's what I found.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found anything in chemical engineering that you're like, oh, this is actually really useful and good?
No. like once you get into the nitty gritty of it, like it's so inapplicable. Like everything we did last semester, like most of it were just dedicated to like what the fuck steam does, you know, like gaseous water, like just shit about enthalpies and how pressure and temperature influence it, and these big like tables and all these equations to like approximate what the real life thing does, but like, you know, not quite. And like just
That's the thing. Like,
inordinate amounts of garbage about steam,
dude,
and like
chemistry.
that I can never use in real life.
Chemistry is always my least favorite subject because I really hated how it was almost precise, but it wasn't. You know, like they'd be like, oh yeah, these are how much energy it requires for like this state change to another or this transition, whatever the fuck. And you're like, why is it this amount? And they're like, oh, it just is. We tested it. And you're like, yeah, but why? And they're like,
Yeah,
oh, it just is. And they're like, oh, okay. And then it's like, oh, these ones, the change in whatever is like linear. But these ones, it's almost like an S shape or it's just like this weird curve. Like we've graphed the amount of energy it needs to do X, Y, Z, and it just has no rhyme or reason to it. And it's just like, oh, just reference the table when you need to do calculations. And you're like, yeah, but why
yeah,
is it
dude.
like that? And they're like, oh, it just is. We checked.
Bro, the way like small like you think like all atoms and particles are just like simple things like oh it's hydrogen whatever, but like when you put a bunch of them in a row like in an object, like the shit it can get down to with like the mutual interactions like within itself and with others is like incomprehensible. Like I we use this program sometimes to like simulate like what the energies of like one molecule with like 8 or 9 atoms and like how it interacts with other stuff. And a literal like 2019 computer will take an hour to spit out like proper values. So like the basis
Mm.
of chemistry is all just like starting with the experimental because that's just way easier and going from there.
The thing that I find too is like the most interesting stuff I got out of a lot of classes were like these interesting like occasional factoids. Like I remember like one that was something like the amount of energy it requires to change the state of matter, or like say water as an example, is so high that it's like to the amount of energy you'd have to add to ice that's 0 degrees to get it to turn into water that's 0 degrees. So just basically turn it from ice to water at 0 degrees.
Right.
If you use that same amount of energy, you could heat water at 0 degrees to water at 70 degrees. And I
Yeah,
was like,
man.
whoa, dude, that was a good fact. And that's all I
Mhm.
got. That's actually an entire year of chemistry. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I wish I still had like cool little factoids, but all the stuff they teach us now is just so like esoteric. It's like, hey guys, did you know that the Yang-Robinson equation of state is based entirely on the critical properties of a material rather than found constants? And it's like that means nothing to me.
You're like lit, dude.
Yeah,
Sick.
sick.
I like doing the titrations. I was always really good at titrations because everyone
Oh
was
yeah.
everyone was impatient, and they couldn't like. Here's the
Mhm.
thing with titrations is like people would be like, okay, you're gonna start at 80 mils. It's probably gonna take you to around 40. So you just go really fast until 50, and then you just go really slow. And then you're just like, oh,
Exactly.
it's getting close. I better slow down. And then you just get it right every single time. And other people, they just overshoot it. They undershoot it. Takes them 45. What are people doing, man? This is
Yeah.
hands on,
Finally,
This is
somebody
like
who
plumbing.
understands like the real shit. Like, I'm a pro at titrations. It took me a while. I used to be one of the impatient bastards, but like once you get it down, you feel like a wizard.
And I like the names of all the different. What are they called?
Indicators.
Yeah, like there's like
Phenolphthalein.
phenolphthalein. That's right, and it's spelled with a PTH.
Yeah,
It's like
P. No, it's like
phenolphthalein.
it's like PHTH. I'm pretty sure.
Oh god.
Like the worst combination of consonants.
I like all the words in there. Like titration is a great word. Crucible
Yeah.
is a great word.
Oh yeah, I like
Crucible.
Crucible.
Crucible. We got to. I remember we heated up magnesium once, and it caught on fire, and it was really neat.
Oh shit.
And
Doesn't
then,
that wait? Doesn't that like burn your eyes out?
oh yeah, but it burns like a different color depending depending what chemicals you burn is a
Yeah.
different color.
Those last few moments of vision are pristine.
Oh, they're so good, man. You see the whole rainbow before everything goes black.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any more questions? Because I think we'll close it out.
This dude said tit ration, and I think that's a very valid point.
Dude, I always think of that every time I think. Because every time they're like, "Oh, make sure that you titrate," and I just read it as like tit rate. I'm like,
I give
nice.
those like a 7.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Decent areola distribution.
Oh, I guess it's the perfect pepperoni. The perfect pepperoni shape.
Bro, it's salami or no go with me.
Wow. All right, good shit.
Salami or Slim Jim, nothing in between.
I respect it. I respect it. Uh-oh, Casually Explained. When's the next video coming out? When's my next
Ugh.
video coming out? Maybe a week? When's your next video coming out?
Oh, who, me or the dude who asked you the question?
Oh, you. No, you.
I thought you were like sassing him. Like, why you get all my case for? When's your next
Yeah,
video?
bro. When's your video coming out? Shit.
No. On the one hand, like questions like that kind of bug me a little bit, but I know deep down that's just because like I know I'm not like as on top of this shit as I should be.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm shooting for like 26th, 28th of the month,
That's solid, dude.
roughly.
Is it
Yeah.
sponsored?
Yeah, man.
Nice, dude.
They're all sponsored nowadays. Like that's just how it be.
That's
I don't
crazy, man.
know. I think it's like a Wix. I don't know. We'll find out.
You don't even know, dude. That's good though. Man, the sponsors. I can't wait till we get like the big boy sponsors like Coca-Cola. I can't wait to be
Oh
someone's
yeah.
be like, "Oh, what are you drinking?" I'm like, "Coca-Cola." That'd be so crazy. I'd be so
Mr.
happy.
Pibb, the official refreshment of Casually Explained.
That'd be so sick. I want to be sponsored by like a really expensive water. Like if I could get like Fiji water, that would be so. Guys, be right back. Let me get some water. And then I just have like a sound bite that plays that just sounds like the Bahamas. Because it's not Fiji, but you know what I
Have
mean,
you
right?
ever tried that water? It's like BLK is the name. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
it's supposed
black
to be
water,
like
right?
black. Yeah, it's like because it's like full of minerals or
It's
whatever.
fucking
I don't know
stupid, dude.
how that got popular. It just looks like fucking industrial runoff to me. Like not something I would ever put in my body. They say it has health benefits, but good lord.
What's like even like the Himalayan pink sea, like Himalayan pink salt? It's fucking salt, dude. Like
Yeah, I
get
mean
real
salt's
right now.
salt. It's
Salt.
kind of cool. Like I like the little novelty of like, oh, I'm sprinkling pink into my meal.
Well, I've been
But
watching a lot of Chef's Table, right? And I've learned there's some differences in salt because, there's not just salt in it. There's occasionally some other minerals and also like the size of it matters. But for fuck's sakes, guys, like you're paying 10 times as much for salt. What are people doing? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, they say always like pay more for ingredients, but if it's a literal fucking mineral that's like the same shit chemically that you're just digging out of the earth, your
Exactly.
focus is in the wrong
Like
place. You
here's
need
the
to
thing.
spend that money on like good beef or something.
Yeah, if you're just like trying to make dinner and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to buy a nice piece of lamb," like maybe you want to upgrade to goat. You might want to think that, but salt doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. That's a good way to
Did
end
you
it, I
say
think.
goat is
So.
an upgrade to lamb? I feel like
No,
lamb is
lamb's so
very
good, man.
like
Lamb shanks, man, so good.
yeah, dude, I'd shank a lamb every day if I could.
Shank 'em, man. We learned that from the New Zealanders in Australia. Oof, got him, man.
Those
Got him.
kiwis are tough.
Those Kiwis are tough. God, yeah, good times. All right, Mr. Sam. I think we should probably close it out. So thank you for being on this episode of the podcast. To anyone who's
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
thank you very much, and anyone who's listening on YouTube or anywhere else that you may be listening to this, make sure to check out Sam's YouTube channel at Sam O'Nella Academy on YouTube. And is there anything else that you would like to plug or mention for yourself?
Hmm. The state of Kazakhstan is illegitimate.
All right. Thanks very much,
Oh.
everyone. Catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.
Peace.